Hello, Mayor Glenn Wilson here in the Loop Line Park in Boulder. Did you know we've got over 60 parks, reserves and playgrounds across our city? The Loop Line Park here in Boulder is just one of those. And last night, Council endorsed a 10-year park strategy and playground replacement program. Try saying that very quickly. With that comes obviously the renewal and the modernisation of our parks and our playground across the city. This is a process that will take place over 10 years, and last night Council endorsed that strategy to ensure that families across the goldfields, across Kalgoorlie-Boulder, can use our wonderful parks, our reserves and our playgrounds and use the best, safest modern equipment available as well. So we'll be starting that process very soon. Also last night there were 2 election commitments that Council endorsed that we'll take carriage of moving forward. One of those is for the mountain bike trail. That particular mountain bike trail funding is over $1.7 million from the state government elections. So Council doesn't have to put any money into that at this point, and we are very excited to see how that project can look for the city of Kalgoorlie-Boulder. Further to that, another election commitment of $1.95 million for the Kalgoorlie International Speedway. That was originally planned back in 2017 as an election commitment, and we're now looking to put that tender out to market and to accept that tender potentially over the next short period for a new safety fence at the Speedway, so when you get your backside, trackside, you'll be a lot safer. Plus also some ablutions and some showers, not only just for spectators, but also for the drivers as well. So they're 2 election commitments that are going into our city that the city doesn't have to pay for, which is wonderful. Further to that, last night, Council also awarded the tender for our Goldfields Art Centre Pavilion, which on a day like today, there's a couple of drops of rain around the place, but if you're holding a big event and you need an undercover space, moving forward, when that is built, that'll be an ideal location for you to hold that. It'll also look to be the home of diggers and dealers as well, taking away that need for the big marquee. Last night, the vote 5-2 on that one was that Council endorsed that and awarded that tender. We had a couple of development applications last night. One of those was the school oval for John Paul College on the old drive-in site. Maybe you used to sneak over to the drive-in many decades ago. Well, that site will now be converted into a school oval for John Paul College. We also had a couple of other amendments to some applications as well, and a change of use for an office space on Brookman Street into tourism accommodation. And as mentioned last night, that particular site will be backpacker accommodation right in the heart of the city, which is wonderful. Further to that, the city also last night endorsed our CEO's annual performance review for 24-25. The review reflects some of the challenges and the achievements that we've had across the course of the past 12 months. We've been rebuilding a lot of systems within the city, and also not only internally but also externally as well. As part of that process has been the antisocial behaviour study, which looks at transitional homelessness and antisocial behaviour that affects not only our city but also other cities across Australia. We've also endorsed our CEO to apply for the Tim Fisher Scholarship and also the Churchill Fellowship as well. Now if he gets both, fantastic, but if he gets one or the other, then that is also great as well. And that puts the role that the city can play in a very strong leadership role forward into the future to conduct further research into issues that our community want answers on: antisocial behaviour and homelessness. Further to that, I'd also like to recommend that people get along to the Kalgoorlie Desert Race a little later on this year. Council endorsed a sponsorship request of $50,000 for that event to be conducted later in 2025. It was a big meeting for Council as we come to the end of our terms. I'd like to highlight the work of Councillor Deborah Bodica, Councillor Terence Winner, Councillor Nadia Turner and Councillor Carla Viskovich, all coming to the end of their term. Local government nominations are out very soon, and for those who do have an interest in local government, I'd encourage you to apply to put your name forward to represent your community at Council. Finally, for all those who have been putting Book Week costumes together, well done. It's been always a tough week in family households, but the William Grant Memorial Library this week also celebrates 50 years. I'd encourage you to get to the library on Sunday to check out the open day. There's a lot going on, and even find out a bit more about the story on why the library is called the William Grant Memorial Library. It's quite interesting. Thanks very much for joining us on our wrap-up. It's our last Ordinary Council wrap-up as we move into caretaker mode now for the City of Kalgoorlie-Boulder. And I'd like to thank you for all of the feedback that we get, in particular to these videos. We'll look to continue those after the election.